Right now, somewhere in the world, two people are waking up at the exact same 24 hours. One will build a life most people only dream about. The other will remain exactly where they are. They have the same amount of time, the same human brain, the same opportunity to choose. So what separates them? The answer isn't what most people think. In fact, the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want may already be inside your own mind. Today, you'll uncover 10 mindset rules that have quietly separated winners from everyone else for generations. And once you understand them, you'll never look at success the same way again. Is the greatest threat to success? It isn't. Success is. Failure forces you to reflect. It demands that you improve. It exposes your weaknesses whether you like it or not. Success can do the opposite. It convinces you that what worked yesterday will always work tomorrow. That's when growth quietly stops. History is full of people who climbed to the top, celebrated too soon, and slowly watched everything they built begin to disappear. Not because they suddenly became untalented, not because they lost their intelligence, because they stopped learning. Jim Rohn believed that personal development should never end. The moment you stop investing in yourself, you begin living off yesterday's knowledge while tomorrow's world keeps moving forward. Think about technology. 5 years ago, certain skills were enough to build an incredible career. Today, many of those same skills are no longer enough on their own. Life rewards adaptation. The winners never assume they've arrived. They remain students. They ask better questions. They seek feedback instead of avoiding it. They read when others relax. They improve while others celebrate. Their confidence comes from knowing they can grow, not from believing they already know everything. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you challenged one of your own beliefs? When did you last learn a skill that made you feel uncomfortable? Growth begins the moment your ego stops pretending it already has all the answers. Because every new level of life demands a new version of you. And once you've committed to constant growth, you discover another invisible battle. One that's stealing your future every single day without making a sound. Rule 5. Guard your attention like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Every morning, you wake up with a limited amount of focus. The question is simple. Who gets to spend it? Your goals or your distractions? Most people don't lose their dreams in one dramatic event. They lose them 5 minutes at a time. A notification interrupts deep work. One short video becomes an hour. One unnecessary argument ruins an entire afternoon. One habit of constant comparison slowly destroys confidence. By the end of the day, they've been busy, but they built nothing. Attention is the currency of achievement. Whatever consistently captures your attention eventually shapes your identity. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water while dozens of tiny holes leak from the bottom. No matter how much effort you pour in, very little remains. That's what distraction does to your potential. The highest performers aren't superhuman. They simply protect their focus. They know when to disconnect. They create quiet moments to think. They give their full attention to the task in front of them instead of dividing it between 10 different things. Deep work produces deep results. Shallow attention produces shallow progress. And in a world where almost everyone is distracted, the person who can focus has an extraordinary advantage. But even complete focus won't guarantee success if your environment constantly pulls you backward. That's why the 6th rule is impossible to ignore. Rule 6. Choose your environment before it chooses you. Whether you realize it or not, your environment is always shaping your standards. Spend enough time around people who constantly complain. Soon complaining feels normal. Spend enough time around people who avoid responsibility. Eventually, excuses begin sounding reasonable. The people around you influence your expectations more than you think. Not because they force you, because human beings naturally adapt to what they see every day. If everyone around you believes average is enough, remaining average becomes comfortable. But place yourself among people who value discipline, learning, and growth. And suddenly your own standards begin rising. This doesn't mean abandoning friends or family. It means becoming intentional about the voices you allow to influence your thinking. Jim Rohn often emphasized that we become influenced by the people we spend the most time with. That's why winners actively seek mentors, books, meaningful conversations, and environments that expand their thinking. They understand something powerful. You don't accidentally build an extraordinary life. You intentionally place yourself where extraordinary thinking becomes normal. Look around. What do the conversations in your life mostly revolve around? Problems? Or possibilities? Complaints? Or solutions? Because your future is often hidden inside the conversations you repeatedly have. And once your environment begins pushing you forward instead of pulling you back, you'll face another challenge, perhaps the most personal one of all. Rule 7. Stop waiting until you feel ready. This is where countless dreams quietly die. People wait until they're more confident, more experienced, more prepared, more certain. They tell themselves they're just waiting for the right time. But the right time has a habit of never arriving. Confidence isn't what creates action. Action creates confidence. Every successful person you've ever admired started before they felt completely prepared. The entrepreneur launched before knowing every answer. The speaker gave the first nervous presentation. The writer published the first imperfect page. The athlete entered the competition before believing they were good enough. They didn't eliminate fear. They moved with it because they understood that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. If you wait until uncertainty disappears, you'll spend your entire life standing at the starting line while someone less talented, but more willing, passes you by. And that leads to perhaps the most powerful mindset rule of them all, the one that transforms temporary effort into a lifetime of extraordinary results. Rule 8. Become the person before you chase the reward. Most people focus on what they want. More money, a better career, a healthier body, a stronger relationship. But winners focus on something far more important, who they must become to deserve those outcomes. That's a completely different way of thinking. Imagine someone who dreams of becoming financially successful but refuses to learn new skills, manage money wisely, or develop self-discipline. They're chasing an outcome without becoming the person capable of sustaining it. Even if success somehow arrived, it wouldn't last. The same is true for every area of life. You don't build confidence by wishing for it. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. You don't become respected by demanding respect. You earn it through consistency, integrity, and competence. You don't wake up one morning as a leader. You become one decision at a time. Every habit is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Every decision either strengthens your future identity or weakens it. That's why winners stop asking, "What do I want?" Instead, they ask, "Who do I need to become?" That single shift changes everything. Because once your identity changes, your actions begin to follow naturally. And once your actions change, your future has no choice but to change with them. But becoming the right person requires one more mindset that most people resist. It demands patience. Rule 9. Play the long game. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Instant success. Instant wealth. Instant recognition. People plant seeds in the morning and expect a forest by sunset. When it doesn't happen, they assume the dream wasn't meant for them. But nature teaches a different lesson. The tallest trees spend years growing roots before they ever tower above the ground. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. Underground, everything is happening. Your life works the same way. The hours you spend learning, the mornings you choose discipline, the books you read, the skills you practice, the failures you survive. None of them seem dramatic in the moment. Yet together they create something unstoppable. The greatest achievements are almost never the result of one extraordinary day. They're the result of thousands of ordinary days done extraordinarily well. That's why winners aren't discouraged by slow progress. They understand the power of compounding. One better decision today, another tomorrow, then another. Eventually, those small choices create a gap so large that people call it talent. But it was never talent. It was consistency that refused to quit. Remember this. Slow progress is still progress. The only people who truly fail are the ones who stop planting because the harvest didn't arrive fast enough. And that brings us to the final rule, the one that ties every other principle together. Rule 10. Never stop reinventing yourself. The world changes. Industries change. Technology changes. The question is, will you? Some people spend their entire lives trying to protect the person they used to be. Winners willingly let old versions of themselves disappear. The shy person becomes confident. The procrastinator becomes disciplined. The follower becomes a leader. The person who once doubted themselves becomes the person others look to for strength. Reinvention isn't pretending to be someone else. It's removing everything that no longer belongs in the life you're trying to build. Every chapter of your life demands a different version of you. The mindset that helped you survive your past may not be the mindset that helps you build your future. So don't become loyal to old limitations. Become loyal to growth. Because growth has no finish line. The moment you believe you've arrived, you begin falling behind. Keep learning. Keep adapting. Keep raising your standards. Keep becoming someone your younger self would barely recognize. Now, think back to where this journey began. You may have started this video believing winners were somehow different, that they were born with more confidence, more intelligence, more opportunity. But now you know something most people never fully understand. Winners aren't separated by luck. They're separated by the choices they repeat every single day. They take ownership when others make excuses. They choose discipline when others wait for motivation. They raise their standards instead of lowering their goals. They stay humble enough to keep learning. They guard their attention. They protect their environment. They act before they feel ready. They become the person before chasing the reward. They play the long game, and they never stop reinventing themselves. None of these rules require perfect circumstances. None require extraordinary talent. They require a decision. One decision, made again tomorrow, and the day after that. Years from now, people may look at your life and say you were fortunate. They'll see the success. They'll admire the confidence. They'll notice the results. What they won't see are the mornings you chose discipline over comfort, the evenings you kept learning while others settled, the moments you stood alone because your standards had become higher than your excuses. That's where winners are truly made, not in moments of applause, but in moments of choice. Because every sunrise asks the same question. Will you repeat yesterday, or will you become someone stronger today? The answer has never belonged to fate. It has never belonged to luck. It has always belonged to you. And the life you build from this moment forward will be the evidence of the mindset you choose to live by.